OutQ in the morning with Larry Flick on Sirius OutQ 109.
Good morning. 32 minutes past the hour, and you are listening to OutQ in the morning here on Sirius OutQ 109. I'm Larry Flick. Glad to have you with us on this Tuesday, October 28th. Keith Price is here. So is Cynthia. It is a good morning. Even though it's a bit dark on the East Coast, we're having really, really wintry, wet weather. But I hear it's actually really, really nice in the Southwest. So y'all suck it, okay? It is supposed to be gorgeous.
It's like 91 in Phoenix or something.
It's just
crazy.
fantastic there. But you know what? That's okay because we tend to have pretty calm weather while most of the country gets a little frantic. So one dark day won't kill us, right?
Nah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it will. But anyway, I'm Larry Flick. Did I say that? And Keith Price is here. So is Cynthia. We want to thank Leanne Womack for joining us. How just scrumptious was she?
Beat down, honey. Looking fierce.
Looking like I'm telling you, I thought she thought she was going on TV.
I love when they do that.
I know.
It's radio, baby. Y'all, you could just come up. But you know, the thing is, they know better because if they show up here looking all toe up.
Well, she's old-fashioned country. She's old-fashioned country.
They don't believe.
Actually, I can't wait to. You know what? I'm going to share this with you now.
Okay.
You know, because it's a personal thing. It's not going to really affect anyone's lives. But speaking of country, I got a very exciting invitation yesterday. I got invited to host a listening event for Winona.
Shut up.
That I'm doing next Wednesday. And I'm going to meet. I've never met Y.
I can't believe you've never met her.
I've never met Y.
You are going to fall in love with her.
Well, apparently Y is a fan.
Really?
Of Y. She's a fan of my old writing. My writing from when I was a Billboard reporter and editor. And so when they floated my name past her, she's got this new record coming that I've heard. It's a covers record. Mm-hmm. It's really, really good. When they floated my name past her, she goes, "Oh, I love him. Get him down here." Ooh. I'm very excited.
Can I just say one thing?
So Winona's going to do our show. What?
One thing that could be very cute about that, the craft services. Because you know it's going to be cute.
No, actually, the listening thing, she doesn't do that.
She doesn't know food?
There may be a dinner thing after. That's what she did for the one that I went to once a few years ago. But you're going to fall mad.
I don't care if there's food or not because I just want...
Why?
Hey,
why,
I live for her.
Hey, why?
I live for Miss Winona. So she's going to be on the show. When we're not, if I have to hijack the bitch.
Wow.
And her record, it doesn't have a title yet, but it's a covers record.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, George.
And there is a version of Anyone Who Had a Heart.
Ooh.
It's gag-tastic.
Okay, you have to talk to George in New Jersey real quick.
What, George? Hey, George.
Hey, how you doing, Larry?
Good. How are you? What's up?
I'm all right. Trenton, New Jersey. I'm headed west out of Trenton, but I'm just on the east side of Trenton. I'm driving a big truck. It's snowing.
Is it? Yeah, I hear we're supposed to get some wintry downfall along the East Coast. So thank you. Be careful, George, driving out in that snow. You know, but we can't complain though, because we were talking to folks from Michigan last week who were getting snow,
Getting hammered by the snow.
So you know, we're just getting a little bit of a little touch up here. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And besides, Samuel L. Jackson's going to be here in the next hour.
Oh, no.
That's all the sunshine we need. Well, actually, we got an extra burst of sunshine right this second. He's back for the second day in a row. Don't get too cute with yourself, Missy. Daved Beck, our life coach, is with us right now here at OutQ in the morning. And Daved Beck was with us yesterday. We were talking about intimacy. And it got very, very deep. And he posed a question that I thought, well, you need to leave this question, marinate on it overnight, and then come back to it tomorrow because it was really, really good. And we had folks waiting on the deck to come and talk about other stuff with us. So I wanted to continue our chat today. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, everybody. And congratulations on Winona. How exciting.
I know. I love her. I love Miss Y. I love Miss Y. So I'm gonna have all kinds of stories next week for y'all. I'm already talking like I'm a country. I assimilate really, really well. So now, Daved Beck is a life coach. You could find him online, evolutionnextlevel.com, and he's also on MySpace, myspace.com/evolutionnl. And if none of that registers in your brain, just go to my MySpace page, myspace.com/Larry Flick, and you'll see his photo there, and you can link to all that stuff there as well. So, David, yesterday you posted the question about intimacy and not so much the question always that we always get hit with that leaves us speechless is, what do we want? But it was the other question, what will it cost? That I found really in very, very, very intense and hard to answer right away. So let's pick it up from there, because do you feel that when we're talking about intimacy, we're not just talking about sex, we're talking about romance. We are talking, romance in addition to sex and friendship and just things even within ourselves. So how often, from your experience, are we able to quantify what the cost is?
Well, first it's I take my clients through what the benefits of a relationship are and what they're wanting, and then taking it from there. And what do you want from that? And what's the cost of not having it? Is it costing you your happiness? Is it costing you your dream job? Is it costing you your career? Is it costing you just staying home and sitting in your bedroom all day and not connecting with people?
Right.
And then it's just taking it from there and going through all the costs. And, for some it's like, wow, this is really costing me a lot, not going out and connecting with people and taking those steps and meeting people.
Now, how much does when you're with someone and you're trying to quantify the cost of staying in a relationship, for example, how much does behavior factor in? We were talking about a letter that someone wrote to us in our previous hour, and he was looking at dumping his husband. They're legally married in Boston because the guy started smoking, and to me, it seemed like he was trying to get out.
And it could be, this man maybe doesn't know how to set personal boundaries with his mate and say, look, I don't want you to smoke because I love you and I care for you and I want to see that you're healthy, and yet I want my health. So what if you smoked outside?
Right.
Or what if, being a partner, you want to be there and support your partner and help them. And, smoking is an addiction. It's almost, I guess, equivalent to alcohol.
Oh, sure.
And for smokers and drinkers, whatever, it's an addiction. And so there's support out there, and you definitely want to support them. To leave them high and dry for that, well, yeah, probably wanting to get out.
And so we're talking to Daved Beck here. He's our life coach on OutQ in the morning, where our number is 866-305-6887. Of course, if you have a question about relationships, intimacy, you're please encouraged to, again, dial 866-305-6887 and talk with Daved Beck. So do we find in your practice as a life coach and dealing with people in their issues with intimacy, do you find that people sometimes get in too deep before they've been able to either A, figure out what they really want versus what they kind of think they might like, and B, what the cost is? Because again, I'm stuck on that, what's the cost? Because that's huge. That was honestly, David, that was a light bulb moment, to quote Oprah, for me yesterday, because most of the time I get stuck on the question of what I want, because I have a very hard time sometimes. I can identify the things that I kind of want, but that one thing, very hard to pinpoint.
Absolutely.
So do you find that people get in too deep before they've been able to quantify or qualify what it is they, A, want, and B, what it will cost to them?
Well, absolutely, because, our number one core need as human beings is to be loved and belong and be accepted. And, sometimes we do jump in before getting all the facts because, this is the one, or I feel so good, which we want to feel good. Yet, have we connected with them? Have we asked their wants? Are we sharing our wants? Most importantly, are we showing up and sharing all of ourselves? You know, for so many, fear can come up and say, you know what, you're going to look stupid, you're going to look fail if you express that. And if we don't express who we are, then we're actually limiting ourselves, and we're limiting ourselves to our fullest potential.
And do you find, David, that sometimes we are looking for more than we're able or willing to give? Like in the question of being more revealing. Sometimes I hear from people when we do our daily dilemmas that people will say, well, he hasn't been very open to me. And I so often want to say, how open have you been?
Exactly.
Because sometimes you have to kind of set the example that you want people to offer, don't you?
Exactly. If we're all our own personal leaders in life, and if we're not leading our life, how are we then inspirational? Inspiration is all about breathing, and if we're willing to go first in our own lives, that's inspirational. And when we're showing up, then others will come along.
Very good, very good. Daved Beck, our life coach here at OutQ in the morning, where our toll-free number is 866-305-6887. David, we have some folks who want to talk to you. Joel in South Carolina, good morning.
Good morning. I can barely hear you, but I'll go ahead and say what I need to say. But I've been in this, I think me and you talked about this before, Larry, but I've been in the same relationship now for 9 years with a married man. And in those 9 years, he's never once told me the words that, he loved me. He talks about how much he likes me, likes being with me, and things of that nature, but never once has he told me he loves me. And I'm not like, a big flaming queen or anything, but he had this fear of being in public with me, because I'm known in the town that we live in. It's Columbia. I mean, it's a capital city, so it's not a small town, but I'm known throughout Columbia for the gay community, and he is just scared to death to go out to eat in a restaurant because he's afraid that someone will see us together. And like I explained to him, just because two guys are out eating together doesn't mean that they're fucking.
But the other thing is, Joel, it's an extramarital affair, right?
He is.
Yes.
I couldn't hear what you said, Larry.
I said, but part of what he may be, before David jumps in with his point of view, just so David understands, because Joel has called and shared his story with us a couple times. What you're involved in, though, technically is an extramarital affair with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, and the thing that bothers me is that, my friends think that I've wasted 9 years of my life. My sister feels the same way. She feels that he's doing me and his wife wrong. But, I mean, to be honest with you, he's with me more especially than he is with her. But now I'm beginning to wonder, is it too late? Because I have these, immense feelings. And what can I do? Because, it's not, you can't help you fall in love with. I didn't know he was married when I first met him.
Right. So, Joel, listen to what David has to say now. David, what's your point of view on this?
Well, Joel, I would invite you first look for the gifts that you've had over 9 years. Look at all the benefits that you've had. And then the next most important thing is, what's the cost that being with a married man is? And you had said that he doesn't want to be seen with you in public. Well, see the innocence in that. What's his fear in that? Does he have a fear, and I'm going to assume right now, does he have a fear that, my mate is going to catch us, or someone's going to see us together, and then my relationship with them will be over? And then, Joel, what do you want in life? Do you want to spend your life with someone who is torn, let's say, in commitment?
Very good. Yeah, Joel. We lost Joel on the line, but these are important things, and we've talked with Joel a couple times. Bless his heart, he's a lovely guy who is right now very conflicted about this relationship. And I've already said in the past, and would love to hear what you think about this, that he should spend some time thinking about his own sense of self-love and self-worth, because if he's willing to give so much, somewhere in his mind, he might not be feeling like he deserves as much back.
Well, and Larry, you pinpointed it. It really does come back down to self-worth and how much are we worth? Do we value ourselves?
Yeah.
And when we look outside of ourselves in the expectations of life, and we look outside ourselves to make ourselves happy, then we're not going to be happy,
Right.
because really the happiness comes from inside, and we all want to feel good, and that's the most important thing, are those feeling good feelings.
Yeah.
And when we're feeling bad, yeah, we don't want that.
And, one last thing to Joel, because I know he's listening, even though he got cut off, and that is, Joel is a good guy. He's a good man with a lot to offer, and he deserves better than to be, someone's second best. It's like this wonderful woman named Suzanne in Michigan. I will always remember Suzanne in Michigan calling us and saying, "Don't make someone a priority who makes you their option." It's the most powerful thing I think anyone's ever said to me. And Joel is letting himself be an option while he's prioritizing this guy. And he deserves better. We all deserve better, don't you think, David?
Absolutely. And Joel, I definitely invite you to look at how much you value yourself, and think about all the possibilities that there are in life and what's available to you.
Yeah, because he's a good guy. He really is. That's Daved Beck joining us here. He's our life coach on OutQ in the morning. Sirius OutQ 109. I'm Larry Flick with Keith and Cynthia. Our toll-free number is 866-305-6887. Now, Will in Colorado. You're on with Daved Beck.
Good morning. I have a comment on the cost, and give you a little background. I've been married for 22 years, been with my mate for 27, kids, the whole thing. And earlier this year, we started using David as a life coach. And when you talk about the cost and intimacy and so on, for intimacy for me was about the sex and the feeling loved and so on and so forth. And learning what true intimacy is has allowed me to see my mate for somebody who I didn't see before. And the cost was the relationship, the communication, the trust, and the things that we've developed by, for me, getting to know what real intimacy is. The holding hands, the communication. Those are the costs. The relationships that I had with my kids are better. The relationship with my wife is better than it's ever been in our entire life. So the cost is knowing what true intimacy is for me, and then finding what true intimacy is allowed me better relationships with everybody that I come in contact with.
And that's a really good thing. Thank you, Will.
Thanks,
David,
Will.
It takes a while to reach that understanding, because it seems, again, like the biggest challenge is identification, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? And so do you find that you should how much exploring with other people should we engage in before we have identified what we really, really want? Because first we need to know what we want.
Yes. Well, and knowing what we want learning what we want actually comes from exploring. And I believe, I'm going to assume that you're talking about exploring not in sex, just in
dating. And for some
Yes.
people it would be. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think it's unrealistic for people to assume that people aren't going to be having sex. I think by and large, they're going to give in to their carnal desires, even though it probably would be wise to not.
Well, with my clients, if they're in a relationship, when I begin with them, I actually I put a stop to sex.
Do you?
Yes, it's a homework assignment that I put a stop to sex, because in order to learn what true intimacy isn't about sex. Intimacy is about, are we making eye contact? Are we sharing our ideas and our life with each other? And for new people out there, I have a 3-date rule. And you definitely do not have sex for at least the first 3 dates. And it's really, the first date, it's about sharing with each other and listening and are they similar to you, and do they have your top 5 non-negotiables? which non-negotiable. I want someone that does not smoke. Okay, that's a non-negotiable. So great. Is the person that you're on this date with a smoker?
Right.
And if you give in to that, okay, great. Again, going back to what's it going to cost? Are you giving in to your own wants, or are you giving in just because you want a quick fling? What are you giving into?
And it really involves listening, because I was quoting that great adage of Maya Angelou's, that if you listen to someone for the first 10 minutes you speak with them, he or she will tell you everything you need to know. But you just have to pay attention. And I was talking about a past relationship of mine where the guy said to me, without me really paying attention, I will cheat on you because I'm not a monogamous guy. I will talk about things that you don't really understand or are interested in. I will always be late. I will always smoke pot. I will always do this. I will always do that. But because I found him so attractive and because I was in this, like, I really want him mode, I didn't listen. And then 9 years later, mad because he cheated on me because he wasn't monogamous, and he did all these various things that he said to me very honestly about himself.
Yes.
So we really need to listen.
And he let you know the truth of himself, and also he set up his boundaries.
Yeah, he did. And I said, oh, I can break those boundaries down because I'm better than all that. We're going to continue chatting with Daved Beck here at OutQ in the morning.
866-305-6887. OutQ in the morning with Larry Flick on Sirius OutQ 109. You're listening to OutQ in the morning with Larry Flick on Sirius OutQ 109.
You're probably thinking that you're gonna change me in some ways. Well, maybe you might. Scrub me down, dress me up, all, but no matter what, remember, I'm still a guy.
5 before the hour, it's Brad Paisley's birthday. Brad Paisley's 36 today. We love ourselves a little Brad Paisley here at OutQ in the morning. We also love knowing when you have a big special day in your life. Email us at lflick@sirius.com or go to myspace.com/LarryFlick. Drew in Martinsburg, West Virginia is 53. Paul in Atlanta is 41. Ezekiel in Ely, Nevada is 40. Remy in Denver is 27. James in London is 21. And Todd in Lexington, Kentucky might be 39. Might be. At least that's what his boyfriend Rich thinks, but he's not sure. Now, Daved Beck is with us. Daved Beck's our life coach. David, wouldn't you think that one of the rules of good intimacy or getting good intimacy would be, if you're going to call a radio station, knowing what your partner's birthday it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't think Rich is going to be getting any tonight.
Okay.
If he called his boyfriend's favorite radio show and said, I think he's 39.
Oh my God.
Well, maybe it's early in the morning. He hasn't had his cup of coffee yet.
No mas, no rule, no leeway. I can't give leeway for that one.
See, I'm all about seeing the innocence. I don't want to assume first.
I know. That's why you do your work and why I do my work.
You do your work and we're just vicious bitches.
We're just vicious. Right, exactly. So Daved Beck is our life coach here at OutQ in the morning. You can learn more about him by going to Evolution the Next Level or evolutionnextlevel.com. And he's also on MySpace, myspace.com/evolutionnl. And if none of that is registering in your brain because you're driving and you don't have a pen and paper, well, you know my MySpace address. It's myspace.com/LarryFlick. And there's his cute little face on my top friends list, right underneath Sonny Anderson, another cute face family member here at OutQ. Now, we only have a couple minutes left, David, but honestly, the key to any kind of intimacy, whether it is romantic, sexual, friendship, or even, as you said to us yesterday, within yourself, is really being honest with yourself and identifying really your true desire.
Yes, absolutely. It's we define everything is our own definition. With my clients and everybody, I'm like, great, look it up in Webster's, but come up with your own definition and do what it is that your heart tells you to do, and follow your heart. And definitely trust yourself. And you're here right now in this moment. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. The past is the past. Now is now. I say the next level is now, and the present moment is such a gift. So honor your truth and be authentic in what you want.
And the truth of the matter is that if you can identify what you want and put positive energy into it, even though that sounds a little bit of an airy-fairy way of saying it, you can have what you want.
Mm-hmm.
We're all capable of getting what we want if we really know it.
Yes.
And if we know what the cost is.
Right.
And the benefit.
The
benefit to being in passion. Our desires come from our passion in life.
Very good. I'll tell you what, David. I think your next great writing, your next book, is going to be about the cost of intimacy.
Oh.
And if you don't write it, I'm going to write it and steal it from you. So get started.
We can write it together.
We can do. Okay.
All
right. I'm down. I'll be your guinea pig. I'll be your case study.
All right.
David Beck will be back with us again very, very soon here at OutQ in the morning. He's a lovely, wonderful part of our family, and it's really good to talk with you, David.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, everybody, for having me.
You're a sweet, sweet man, and you've got wonderful insight. And again, we want to encourage everybody to check David Beck out on the internet, whether it be on MySpace or evolutionnextlevel.com. Stick around, because after the top of the hour news, Samuel L. Jackson's going to be here. So where are you going? Stick around.